Hello and welcome to Channel Sports on Sunday. I'm Cecilia Omogbe and happy Easter to every one of you watching us from across the globe. All right, this is what the show is looking like this afternoon. We'll be talking about Israel Adesanya. He was able to reclaim his UFC middleweight title belt. And also we'll talk about what's story on Anthony Joshua, Tyson Fury, and also Usyk. Yes, because someone will be joining us who is a boxing freak to digest, or rather dissect all these. We'll also be talking about the Super Falcons of Nigeria, of course, their preparations for the second friendly game. They will be playing against New Zealand. They're currently in Turkey. They won the first game they played against Haiti, 2-1. Also, we'll talk about CAF inspection of the Port Harcourt Stadium. That's the Adokiye Amiesemaka Stadium. It was done during this week, so Rivers United may have to go back and play all their CAF Confederations Cup game for this season. Also, we'll talk about the African Schools Sports Championship, African Schools Football Championship. Yes, inaugural edition, the final has been played, and of course, surprise, surprise, the teams are winning it. You'll find out on the show. And also, we'll touch down Nigeria Professional Football League. We'll talk about the games played yesterday, Benin Insurance, another draw for them. That's a 4 in a row, but they're still unbeaten. That's the story. All right, Okpeyemi Ajala is in the studio right here in Lagos. Okpeyemi, how you doing?
Thanks, Sissy, for having me. Happy Easter, and of course, the holiest period in the Christian faith. And before talking about the physical bout, that Easter tells you about spiritual bout. So the spiritual comes before the physical.
It comes before.
Thanks for having me.
All right. Okay, Ken Ochonoga is still in London. I don't know when he's coming to Nigeria. So he's joining us right there, wherever it is. Ken, it's good to have you.
It is Resurrection Sunday, Sissy. When somebody beats you 1, 2, 3, you understand. You now look, how are you going to beat this guy? The guy came to kickboxing, he beat you. You came to where you are now. You left in there. You went to MMA to go and let me gradually go and be who I want to be. And the guy came again to beat you. Jesus wept. When they're thinking, what are we going to do about this? And then, but on this morning, we resurrected. Nigeria resurrected. Omo Nigeria, me waiting. They won't talk. Waiting, you won't talk again. I'm carrying the Nigerian flag, doing everything for us. I mean, there is no better feeling when Nigeria conquers the world. And at that stage, yes, that is what he did. He did it with the flag wrapped on the green, white, green flag wrapped on his body. He speaks the language. He said, "Look, I am the son of a king. I am a prince. You know me. How do you do that?" I tell you, man. Anyway, leave this. I'm just happy, because the guy who has this show is there. Tunde is with us. You tell me.
I don't know why they revealed his face from the very beginning. Today, how have you been?
Hi, Cecilia. Hi, everyone. Hi, Ken. Happy Easter to everyone all across the world. I hope that this season continues to bring joy and prosperity and goodness and mercy to the lives of Nigerians and Christians worldwide.
Amen. Thank you for joining us this afternoon. I hope this is going to be one of the many to come again. It's been a long time. When was the last time? Like 5 years now or 10 years? Okay, I'm just joking.
He has been he caused the fight here. He was the first guy that Usyk, when he said Usyk was going to beat Joshua, I tell you, he was the only guy that did it. And guy. Tunde, I don't because I see you, but I don't.
All right, let's start off with the big one. Israel Adesanya, he was able to do it in the night. As Ken, you mentioned that when you've beaten someone over and over again, kickboxing twice, UFC once, that's 3 times. So that albatross is actually out from the neck of Israel Adesanya. He said he was going to go into that cage and reclaim his belt, and he was able to do that today.
Like we said, I think I just believe that first of all, he psyched himself up, and those are the questions we want to ask. We really want to ask today. How he prepared for this fight. He had that dog-leash in his neck. When you unleash the dragon. I think that is just what I want to say. Let's allow. Sisi, let's Tunde do us justice on this.
Yeah, Ken. So the dog bitch was reference to a very popular Hollywood movie back in the day that starred Jet Li. I guess you might watch it. It was called Daddy the Dog. Basically, he was a supremely skilled martial arts fighter who worked for a gangster based in Glasgow. Every time he took off the collar, he became an unstoppable force of nature who took down any opponent at will and with ease. Nothing could stop him. So that was basically what he was channeling that day. That look, I'm basically that same thing. When I take off this leash, anything and everything in the past that has happened, I'm going to throw it out and I'm just going to come for my chapter and come for your head. And that's what he said. Even in the press conference, we didn't see an Adesanya that was usually as verbose as we know, as engaging as we know. It was completely dialed in. It was focused. I'm surprised they didn't bring out the fire extinguishers, to try and cool him down, because he was flaming hot. I've never seen Adesanya that dialed in, that concentrated on the fight. Usually on weeks into his fight, we see him on his YouTube channel, his antics, what he's been getting up to, but no, nothing like that. I mean, his training regime was 110% focused on trying to get the Pereira monkey off his back, and it paid off. And that's what we talked about how having a winner mentality, a warrior mentality. There are some like Teddy Atlas who tell you that once you win a title, you become 30% better. So if Pereira was 30% better, that means Adesanya, who at his best had never beaten Pereira in the past, he had to dig deeper to find 150% to overcome a man who had only 100% and now become 30% better. You understand where I'm going? So what Adesanya did was phenomenal in terms of having the mental fortitude to dig even deeper than he ever done before, to beat a man who had beaten him not once, not twice, but 3 times.
Let me ask you this, Tunde. Let me ask you this. I know CC is there. Let me just ask you this. Do you have an inkling on how he prepared for this fight? I know you normally follow, when they move from camp, they get the new manager or new site or whatever it is. How do you think he could have prepared for this fight, psychologically, mentally, and whatever, to go into the octagon and do exactly what he did?
He didn't change his training team. He still had the same team, still the same coach, Ian Behrman, who has overseen his career, who has helped him catapult himself from an unknown fighter who was earning $50,000 per fight to the superstar who's earning $2 million per fight. But his mentality was really what was working on. His skills have never been in question. His ability have never been in question. Adesanya's knockout reel superb. He's gotten wins over knockout wins over the likes of Marvin Vettori, Whittaker, Paul Gastelum, Costa. I mean, Cannonier. His body of work speaks for itself. So his ability is not in question. It was just having to dig deeper mentally to overcome someone has beaten you 3 times. That person is your guy. Let's basically call it what it is. That person owns you, body and soul. You sleep at night, you dream of him. You are every waking moment, you see his face, you see his smile, you see that smirk about how he feels he's much better than you. And he said it before that, look, this man is going to have, at some point in his career, this man will always go around telling everyone that the same Israel Adesanya that all of you worship, I've beaten him not once, not twice, but 3 times. So it was basically a mental, psychological job rather than the physical one. Don't get me wrong, the physical preparation is always there, but it was really more about the psychological edge. And that's what we tell the likes of Anthony Joshua. His physical gifts are not in question. It's his mental ability to overcome the setbacks that he's had that a lot of people begin to question. He first showed when he lost to Andy Ruiz Jr. He came to crack, but we thought that, maybe I dealt with it, but I mean, with the meltdown that he had over the second loss to Usyk, it was very clear that, look, if I'm Anthony Joshua, I was going to look for the streak that Israel Adesanya is using, because he's done a phenomenal job for him.
Yeah, he is.
Okay, Sisi is there, because Sisi, he has just mentioned Anthony Joshua, isn't he?
Yeah. Okay. Before we go to Anthony Joshua, okay. No, go ahead.
What? Okay, go on, Sisi.
No, don't worry, go ahead.
Sisi,
yeah.
All right, okay. Tunde, what is the next? Is after his Joshua's last victory, is he now ready to either face a Tyson? Because I know Tyson dodged the other fight. Forget whatever I want to say. Tyson did already to score to that fight. I know, you understand. But is Joshua ready now? People say he was not. They were not too convinced. Of course, he fought safely, got that victory. But can he go back? Can he take on a Wilder? Can he take on a Tyson Fury? Can he? Usyk, can you go for a third time for a Usyk, based on what you saw in the last fight?
That's an interesting question, because physically there's absolutely nothing wrong with Anthony Joshua. I've always maintained that he physically is one of the finest specimens of athletes that you can find anywhere in the world right now. The man is built like a bronze god. I've seen Anthony Joshua physically lift up the back end of a bus. He doesn't seem to have that extra gear of savagery that is required in order to excel in what is basically a blood sport. I think he can physically. He can compete with any boxer, any boxer in his division. The question is, does he have the mental fortitude to do so? And when the likes of Usyk have had your number, the likes of Tyson Fury, who is a master at mind games, is pulling your brain like a kite. It raises a lot of questions. So Joshua really needs to do something spectacular. He needs to find a big name, put a big name on his resume. Not only does he need to put a big name on his resume, he has to win spectacularly. That is why everybody's talking about Israel at this point. And that's the problem with Joshua. When he came back, he boxed safe, he did it intelligently, but he didn't get a knockout. Look, people shell out as much as £20,000 for a ringside seat to watch a grown man knocked flat on his back, eyes rolling at the back of his head, and bleeding profusely from his mouth or his nose. That's what people pay for. It might sound like barbarism, but that is exactly what people pay that big money to come and see. And that was why Tyson, the original Tyson, Iron Man Tyson, was such a huge draw. That is exactly what makes him the man that everybody continues to revere decades after he has retired. And that is the kind of man that everybody believes that Anthony Joshua is capable of being. But when you go out and you drag yourself to a tame 12-round point victory over a journeyman who a few years ago was working in the production line of the factory, it doesn't exactly speak superstar status. But having said all that, the fight with Fury, in my opinion, is still the biggest, richest heavyweight fight today. It is bigger than the unification fight in terms of money. With the unification fight with Usyk, Anthony Joshua has his own crowd, his own following. He will bring that to the table. Tyson Fury has his own crowd, his own following. He will bring that to the table. The pay-per-view buys can easily exceed 1 million. So there's money to be made for both men, and that is why at some point both of these men have to, as we say in Nigeria, give themselves praise, sit down, and talk about the huge payday.
Okay. They give themselves bread. That reminded me of Sugar Ray Leonard. Sugar Ray Leonard, there was when the hitman, the boss Tommy Haynes, was to fight him. He said, look, Haynes, you are good, you are big, you're fast, but if you fight me now, we won't make money. Go over there, let us help you. Go and beat some, get your knockout string. So when you come in, it will be the battle of the unbeaten, and then we can make the mega box. At least, and that was what happened when they did meet. It was a mega fight. It was so much money that was made in that. Sisi.
That's true, because boxing is actually a business. At the end of the day, that's what people don't understand. It's a sport, but at its very core, it's a business. A lot of people make money off it. The fighters, the trainers, the media, sponsors. And if it's done right, it can be the richest sport, in the world. We've talked about people walking away with, 8 figures. People made 55. The likes of Canelo regularly top $50 million for a fight. So if both men can work it out, they can actually work out a fight that both of them will end and can easily retire.
Before CC takes over, let me just ask you this: the Drake effect did not work on Adesanya, isn't it? Drake
actually put money on Adesanya to win that fight. A lot of people actually put up money on Adesanya to win that fight because I don't know, the energy was different this time. There was just something about Israel this time that spoke that spoke about, you know, revenge, vengeance, overcoming incredible odds. And that was when he was talking about in his post-fight interview in the Octagon about how people should believe in themselves. How, you know, when life knocks you down, you should always try and get back up and try and overcome. And that's really what it's all about. Sometimes some of us face incredible odds. We've tried to get this job multiple times. We've been rejected. We've tried to, in various relationships, it's failed. But the true test of, they'll say a man, but I'll say the true test of a mature human being is the ability to take knocks and take setbacks, dust yourself up and go again. You might not succeed, but the fact that you're actually going again says volumes about the strength of your character.
Okay, right. Let's go back to them. They're in the studio. Sisi.
I was going to ask Okpeyemi, you know, on his view concerning Israel Adesanya, because when he was doing his own introduction, he talked about the spiritual aspect of Easter. And when Adesanya finished that fight, he talked about the fact that the last hammer fist that, you know, that he put on Pereira was actually from the gods. You know, that's why he sent him to, he became unconscious. So, I mean, when you alluded to that, was that what you meant? Because, I mean, hammer fist coming from the gods, and then he sent the guy into, he became unconscious after that, and then the referee had to stop the fight.
Yes, you know, everybody, you have your own superstition, you have your own whatever you choose to believe. Could be superstition to somebody, could be faith to other people. We call the, after winning the Olympic gold in the last, in Tokyo, the Brazilian player that came out with issue, and I paid tribute to issue. So for Adesanya, you know, yes, 3 fights, 2 kickboxing, 1 UFC. But you hardly have someone losing 2 fights and going for a trilogy. So for him, he was lucky because you are dividing them into kickboxing and UFC. But going to a 4th fight with a tormentor is either you sink or you swim. So you have no other option. And that is when you talk about burning the bridge. He actually burned the bridge because losing this fight were just taking him back on a relegation trip. And the fear factor, the might built around that brand, Adesanya, will have been lost forever. So he knew what he was doing, that it was either he sinks finally or he swims out onto glory. And I think that is what has happened to Adesanya at this time. And I think for Joshua, as Tunde said, the problem with Joshua is more of a mental block. A survey was conducted recently about the greatest British player, and the captain in 1966, Bobby Moore, was chosen. Now, what happened to Bobby Moore? The first man to actually go to Wembley and win title 3 years. 64, he won the FA Cup. 65, Cup Winners' Cup. 66, he did the World Cup. Now, for Joshua, you were going to the spiritual home of boxing for the first time, and you lost to a journeyman. That kills Joshua mentally. And getting back the fight, going back, because the challenge, as Ken said, Fury is actually dodging him because it takes you back to the time of Frank Bruno. Joshua is the darling boy of British boxing. Yeah. And of course, Fury himself is annoyed at that because he makes reference to his own gypsy background because he's a Romani, and he has the money. Joshua will always bring the money, but the mental block of, I don't think he has gotten that from that shock of losing in Las Vegas to Andy Ruiz. I think that is what is affecting Joshua. He can't be, I have said it over and over again, he can't become an Olympic champion and a world champion and not be good. Joshua is a great boxer, but that mental block, he needs to unlock it. Okay, you talked about mental block, and Tunde was talking about the fact that he's not aggressive enough. He needs to be aggressive. Maybe he needs to, like, test blood, be bloody. And I don't like fights that usually lead to blood, but I don't want to see that. But I like his style of boxing actually because it's beautiful to watch. Man, I love it, but not everyone will love that because they want him to be brutal and go the way of the likes of. It's not everybody that can do the Roberto Duran of this world, bloody fight with Marvelous Marvin Hagler. But we are talking about a man whose tactics has taken that far. Okay, he should continue in that state. Yes, he shouldn't change anything. He should nothing to change. But I think the only thing is he has been like a mommy's boy, fighting in Britain, fighting in Saudi, and you are going to the where the iconic venue, where you have the halo on your head, where the Muhammad Ali, Larry Young, George Foreman made their name. Just for you to get into that, unlock whatever you have in Las Vegas and become one of the great. And he actually he flopped on that on his biggest night. Stage. And I think that he needs to unlock himself, possibly get a psychologist and tell him, look, yes, you fail in Las Vegas, but you can always come back and do it.
So you think this win he had last weekend is not enough? So that means he hasn't overcome the mental block, because, I mean, Tunde was talking about he didn't like the fight, wasn't convincing. Fine, he won by unanimous decision, but not everyone was convinced by that particular bout.
Not, you know, he won because that is the typical Joshua. But again, we can't see. Okay. Boxing is built on mint, on fortes, on brand. You talk about the Thriller in Manila. You talked about the Rumble in the Jungle. Before these guys got to that place to take boxing out of America, they've made their name in America. You've got to make your name in America, and that is what is lacking in his CV.
Yeah, Atunde, before we wrap up this boxing, let's talk about Tyson Fury and Usyk. Everyone wanted to see that bout, but somehow, you know, money splits, the blame games everywhere, the Tyson Fury blaming the Usyk camp, the Usyk camp blaming Tyson Fury camp. What do you make of all this? Is it a fight you want to happen, or actually anticipating the one of Anthony Joshua and Tyson Fury?
Well, unfortunately now, it seems as if the WBA have ordered Alexander Usyk to face Daniel Dubois in the defense of his WBA belt. So that means that fight with Tyson Fury might have to wait for a while. I'm more inclined to believe that, you know, Tyson Fury did everything he could to scupper this fight, because I honestly don't believe. I've known for quite a while that, you know, this man wants to be undisputed champion. That's Alexander Usyk. As for Israel Adesanya, congratulations to him again. To be honest, he was actually losing that fight on my own record. He was losing he lost the first round. He was losing the second round. But I mean, what he did was classic, what we call the boxing rope and dope. He was up with his back up against the cage. Alex Pereira felt overconfident again that, look, I've done this once, I've done this twice, I've done this twice again. This man is towering before me. He was just letting his hands go, and his chin was waving up in the air. His guard was down, and he just took a 1-2 from Israel Adesanya to first stagger him. Then another one, concussive right to put him down. Then a hammer fist to send him into the shadow realm. And, you know, that's sometimes, that's just what the tactics of prize fighting is. Setting traps and drawing in your opposition, allowing them to throw down their guard so that you can probably execute your own game plan. So it worked perfectly for Israel. Congratulations to him. He's now, you know, 2-time middleweight world champion of the UFC.
Yeah, and of course, the first UFC fighter to do that immediately. I mean, it's not always easy for you to quickly reclaim your belt after losing it. Okay, we have to leave boxing now, UFC, because I know we can spend the show with Tunde around and talk about UFC and boxing all the while. But let's quickly, we need to go on a break. So when we come back, we'll be talking about the Super Falcons of Nigeria, and of course, talking about the inspection that was done by CAF on the Adokiye Amesemaka Stadium. All right, let's talk about the Super Falcons of Nigeria. On Friday evening, they were able to beat Haiti. That's another team that's going to the World Cup. It's the first time Haiti is qualifying for the World Cup. And of course, putting it into perspective, the Super Falcons of Nigeria have been to every edition of the FIFA Women's World Cup. So you expect a team like Super Falcons to beat Haiti by as much as 5-0. But then the beauty of the game is the fact that you have the full complement of the players for the first time since the Nations Cup, rather, since the Aisha Buhari's Cup in 2021 in September. You have all the players around Desire Akbaranozie, Sisa Tushola, and maybe everyone actually in that squad. So for the Falcons, they're preparing for another friendly game again, which is going to be against New Zealand on Tuesday evening. And the coach was actually impressed by what he saw from the players in the first friendly game against Haiti. It's international break, so you have all the women's national team across the globe playing different teams. I mean, US just defeated Ireland by 2-0. Remember, that's the team we were playing against, right? But let's listen to the coach of the Super Falcons, Randy Wardrum, talking about that game. Of course, I'll get reaction from Okpeyemi and Ken Ochonogo before he would drop his pen.
Well, I was really proud of the way we played. I thought the first 70 minutes, 75 minutes, we played very well. And, you know, once we conceded the goal late, it got a little bit chaotic in the last 10 or 15 minutes. But proud of the way the players finished it out. And thought the performance overall was good. We had some really individual performances that were very good for us. I think the mistakes is the turnovers that we make and their ability to counter us quick. You know, I think we had clear possession of the ball and just too casual with it, and they caught us on the break. So it's something that we'll break down on the video, certainly show the players, because it happened to us a couple of times today where our mistakes, their best chances came off of our mistakes, not so much what they created. So we've got to solve that and clean that up a little bit. But overall, like I said, I thought it was a really good performance today. You know, we had them in the last, whatever, 25, maybe 30 minutes, and you could see the way they play together, how they know each other. And I thought there at the end, they were a little bit unlucky not to combine on 2 occasions in the last 10 minutes on a goal. But I like those 2 together, and it's good to have Desire back into camp for that reason. You know, we want to see how she's going to fit in, you know, playing with the rest of the players we have up front. But you can see the chemistry with her and Asisat was really good. Well, obviously, we'll evaluate New Zealand and watch more video. We've been watching a lot on New Zealand. It'll be a different kind of a game with them. Their style's a little bit different. So we're looking forward to it. And we'll get to see some new faces with a few changes in the lineup for the next match. So we're excited to see how they fare.
How they will feel. But I mean, I know you must have seen clips of that particular game. I mean, you listened to him. He said he was satisfied with that performance, 2-1, and not just that. The fact that he feels he wants to make changes. You think he's going to do that because we haven't seen those changes. We've using one goalkeeper since we started our friendly or warm-up games to the World Cup.
Yes, it's not every day you get like a Tahiti that the Super Eagles were lost 6 or 7-1 and Nnamdi Odumadu scoring the hat-trick. Let's look at the trajectory of the Super Falcons. They were the mighty team on the continent, and from nowhere we became one of the teams. The Aisha Buhari Cup actually exposed everything not going well about that team, and we went to the Nations Cup, and for the first time, we didn't do well. We made the World Cup. We got the World Cup slot, but we did not do well. And again, bring back the CAF Champions League, the first edition, second edition. So the fear factor about our female national team, actually over the last 3-4 years, going back again to the couple of Olympics we've been missing. So the fear factor just disappeared. Now, a win will always boost your confidence, because this is like you said that since 2021 after the Aisha, but according to the first time we're having a full complement. I did Ocon. Aziza was injured after the first match, so this is like having the team again, going back to the tradition of the Super Falcons, because we need to get that fear factor back. Okay. We just lost it, but it's something like Adesanya. It's something quite quickly get back, and that is why having the full complement of the team, and I think that is to the coach, that is the biggest thing that has happened to wardrobe, having the full complement of the team back, and I think that's even supersede this victory. But again, you need that victory for your confidence boosting
going forward. All right, Ahmed is calling us from Ijaye right here in Lagos. Good afternoon.
Afternoon. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. Thank you for joining us.
Good. Yeah, I'm a regular caller on this program.
Thank you. Always watching.
Hello? Yeah,
thank you for always tuning in.
Hello?
Yeah, I can hear you. Go ahead,
Hello?
please. I can hear you. Go ahead.
I said I'm a regular caller.
Okay, thank you for always tuning in.
Good. Thank you. Yeah, I actually want to make inquiry about the under-15 La Liga training, Remo. Our story is going to commence tomorrow. Is it true?
I think we have to find out from Remo Stars. I think they have a website, Twitter handle. Maybe just check once they post something like that. But if there's more information, obviously we'll get back to you on the show next week. Thank you.
Okay. Right. Then, too, I want to comment on your program. Hello?
Okay, go ahead. Yes, I'm listening.
Especially the way our football is handled. So how I wish other clubs too can also emulate the way Remo Star is doing. As I'm talking to you, I'm going to fly to Remo every weekend to even watch Remo, even whether they're playing football or they're not playing football. Today, because Remo Star is just like Barcelona, just like Real Madrid, Arsenal Football Club of England. You know, the way they market their football, the way they're packaging their game is really lovely. So I wish more people can also come in so that we can get, you know, fans can go out. Like MFM just died off in Lagos. It's really painful to us here in Agege, Lagos, that we can't see MFM to play again. But we hope more and more people will come into football so that we can get, and your stations too can have more to cover. Because I really love channels. But I love to watch it, love to listen to it. So,
thank you very much.
So thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you for your contribution.
You know, all right?
Okay. You know, we're talking about Super Falcons. I mean, the other question was, he says he wants to make some changes. What are the changes you expect him to make, especially him literally sticking to same players, playing some out of position? I mean, we'll be using one goalkeeper for a while. One day is there. He's not being used that.
Yeah, I will never forget what Sir Alex Ferguson said. There are two things you pray against in football: is injuries and suspension. Then you have the third one, which is ill luck. Okay. Now, it happens to us during the last Nations Cup in Morocco, where we lost Adesanya in the first match, and from there it was to your 10th Israel. So now, yes, we've been used to certain set of players. Now, what happens when suspension comes? Look at the case of Mitrovic, who's been handed eight match ban. So I think the man is just being anticipatory. Now, what happens if injury comes? What happens if we've had instances this English guy that played for Bayern, I can't collect his name now, who even when he got to Man City, coming back from injury, he was warming up in Man U and he suffered under injury. And now, don't forget that our top guys are even aging. So what happens when they suffer a cramp? Yeah. So I think it's been anticipatory, which tells you the experience of the handler, which is good.
All right, let's quickly move to this one. Ken, I'll throw this to you concerning the CAF delegates actually inspecting the Adoke Maka Stadium. I mean, this was done during the week, and of course, I mean, everyone has been talking about the way the stadium has been refurbished and it can even host international matches again.
Yeah, it's great to see that they missed that opportunity. I think that was in December when the team was supposed to have gone to inspect, you know, the Adoke Amezemeka Stadium. Because of this, CAF said from what they saw, the stadium was not up to standard. They need to up a lot of things. And that is what you are seeing now. The Rivers United have been playing in Uyo. You can imagine the cost of, you know, taking their players to Uyo, pay, you know, apart from, you know, the expenses of how, you know, pay for the stadium, pay for the maintenance, pay for everything. But you also deny them their home fans. That the 12th man of every game is the fans. And it is that 12th, the support from that 12th man. That's why you have the home advantage. So what we are seeing here is massive. What we are seeing here is we expect that if CAF sees this, if CAF gets their report from the team that went there, they will say, look, Rivers United, come back, you can play your matches at home. And that is what all this is all about. We also hope that it is not that after this thing, they will not, leave this so that it can now go back to dilapidated state. You get it? So a lot needs to be done. A lot needs to be done for them to maintain this status, so that next time they will not ask them to go and play away when they have this massive facility, this standard facility that you said they can host any team in any match game in the world. This can be a World Cup stadium. It can host a World Cup game from what we are seeing from here.
All right, before I get a reaction from Pem, let's listen to Barrister Chris Green, who happens to be the Commissioner for Sports of Rivers State, talking about this particular edifice and the reason why they have to put it up to ensure that Rivers United can actually, you know, save money of playing all their games in the year.
We're doing everything humanly possible to making sure that we give them all the supports and also meet all the requirements from CAF as regards that competition. Of course, you're aware that as at the last time, we didn't play our games here. You know, the second round of games are the group stage games. Even when we played the prelims here, we were condemned to playing in a new found home. That's the Akwa Ibom State Stadium. And we now said, no, what's going on? Let's find out what's going on. And we looked properly inwardly and said, okay, we don't even need the prompting of anybody. We don't need the prompting of CAF, not even of FIFA, to be able to uplift and improve on our facilities. And so we started what we thought will be good enough for us to host international games. Of course, you can see this stadium. It's hosted even World Cup qualifiers before, and all those other such high-profile matches. And so we now embarked on purely facelifting and renovation and improvement of the facilities here. Okay, let's start with the benches here. You know, the reserve benches for players and officials. Of course, this was not what we had here before. You know, we had to improve on what we have, and these are locally made. You can see them, and in no time they were made, and at least you will agree with me that they meet the international standards, you know, required of such benches with the complete numbers on everything you have in here. And you could look at the stadium. We're trying to, you know, paint, have a facelift of the stadium as it were. The pitch has been done so very well. This is just the least we can do. There's much more we'll continue to do to culture the grass. We have good horticulturists and all that, you know, groundsmen, you know, people in grass engineering and all that, to giving us the kind of texture that we require for international games and even the Nigerian Premier League itself. Now, if you go in there, you see other facilities, you know, the dressing room, meeting all the standards you require for both match officials, players, even the mixed zone, the press gallery, conference rooms, the toilets, and all the other facilities you can find there, and dope center and all that. You know, we're doing everything. Okay, look at the PA system. You know, it's back again. It's all around the stadium. It's not just in a place. This stadium has been built for things like this, for this kind of purpose. Well, first and foremost, if it is approved, it will help us financially. Of course, you know that money is not anybody's friend right now, world over. Of course, one of the clubs, I don't want to name it, as I speak to you, 2 of the officials are still in their last country where they played their last game. They are being held on by authorities there because they are unable to pay, you know, for the facilities they use and all that, you know, over there. So you know that money is very, very important, and there's funding. And I tell you what, you see, there's no amount that you will spend that will really give you what you want, you know, in terms of sports, football. You know, it's a high spending event, you know. So for us, if we begin to play here, we'll have cut the expense, you know, such huge expense of playing in Uyo.
Let's a caller has been on the line for a while now, Bright Agu. He's been trying to reach us. Let's just get him up. Bright. Okay, Bright.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Good afternoon, Cecilia.
Good afternoon. Hi.
So, Cecilia, are you hearing me?
I can hear you. Yes.
Yeah,
Please go on. Cecilia? Yes, I can hear you. Please go on.
Okay. Let me first of all commend you, Cecilia. You are not being bad. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yes, I said, Cecilia, you are not being bad.
Thank you.
Yes, keep it up. Now,
Thank you.
I want to say Super Falcons, if they can, you know, keep the momentum, because it's like they are now awakening from the momentum. We no longer, I'm a fan of Super Falcons, but with what I am seeing so far, I am getting scared about their coach and their style of playing. They have won their match against the 80. Can they keep the momentum up? Then again, Cecilia, can you kindly replay that fight between Adesanya and the Pereira? In fact, we want to see that fight, can you do us a favor? Replace the fight.
I won't be able to do that. We don't have the right to do that.
Thank you. I have a wonderful Easter celebration. My name remains Chief Bright Agu.
Thank you, Chief Bright Agu, for calling us this afternoon. All right. We're going to talk about the schools championship, of course. Oh, you're going to comment on the stadium, right? Quickly, just a quick one.
Just like my natural fear, even with Edo Insurance, what happens after this administration leaves? What happens when there is a drop in the allocation from federation account? Because the stadium as it is now is something you can find anywhere in the world. It's a world-class, we saw the facilities, so there is no nothing embellishment here, but the issue is how do we sustain revenue to maintain this facility? Because it's not enough to just have one contract is put in place, and after 5 months, if Rivers United does not play on the continent next year, what happens? So
they'll be using it for MPF again.
No, that's what I'm saying. You know, this the reason for this is because of their continental engagement.
Super Eagles can also go there and play.
Yes, even the Nations Cup we are about to stay with the joint Nations Cup with Benin Republic. We can use that. This facility is what you can see anywhere in the world. So, but how do we generate revenue to maintain this? What happens when revenue draws from Abuja? Those are the big questions.
Yeah, what I think they will do, they will set up a structure that will stand the test of time, and not when it leaves and then that's the end of it. Amen, right? Okay, let's talk about schools sports. Not just school sport, but schools of football. Now, CAF, last year, they decided to come up with a kind of a program whereby kids as young as 8, 12, 15 can play football in school, involving schools across Africa. 54 nations in Africa, they were expected to be a part of this. At the national level, schools were selected, the ones who win. They go for regional competition, and then they go to the continental, which is the final. And Durban in South Africa, that's where the final was held. And surprisingly, it was Guinea, the school from Guinea, Ben Sekou Sila from Guinea, were the one who won the boys' event, while Fountain Gate School of Tanzania won the one for the girls. Now, they beat South Africa to win this on penalties after full-time ended 1-1. And for the girls, they beat Morocco, who is having a very good football program, especially for women, 3-0. So that's how it ended. So you have the champions from Guinea and champions from Tanzania. And the reason why I'm emphasizing on this is, if you hear a particular girl, Winifreda Gerard, she scored 11 goals in this final. So when you see that girl playing in the Nations Cup 10 years from now, you know how she actually started. But mind you, Nigeria wasn't a part of this. Benin Republic, Ghana, they all started, but they couldn't make it to the continental, to the final. By the end of the day, you have so many countries actually key into this particular program to groom players for future, to groom the future champions.
Yeah, as usual, look at the teams that they've won. When you talk about Guinea, they also have that pedigree in football. Afia Konakry stopped Enugu.
Let me quickly take Jibri. Yeah, sorry, intervention for that. Jibri, hi. You're on, so please go on. Ruben.
No, Ruben.
Okay. Ruben is on. Okay, it's Ruben now. All right.
Yes, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
I want to just quickly touch on maybe 2 or 3 things that you have talked about. One is about this pitch that you showed about the Bayelsa United team.
Rivers United.
Okay, Rivers United. I think it's Rivers United. I don't know. Is it that we cannot get the pitch right? The surface doesn't even seem smooth. Look at even the surface where the Super Falcons played in this Ireland, and what people they played. It's far much better than what you are seeing on the screen. We have good facilities, we build all, but when it comes to the surface, we don't always get it right. I remember I was reading an article or something in which he was complaining about the Abuja National Stadium not being the cause of their loss against Guinea. And now they're just building this Rivers United Stadium, and yet the surface is still the same thing. I don't know when we start getting the surface right in our pitch. Look, go to Morocco, go to Egypt.
Okay.
TV friendly. I'm not even enjoying the surface. Oh, yes, you're showing the pictures now live. Yes, the interior, no problem. But when you talk about the surface where the main thing is being done, the main football is going to be played, the surface is nothing to write home about. I think we should concentrate more on that. We will have a good surface for the players themselves, because they are the actors.
All right, thank you, Ben.
Aside that, the Super Falcons, I'm not really optimistic about the coach. Because after this World Cup, we look inward. We wish the Super Falcons the best.
All right. All right, thank you.
Just stay there.
Okay. Thank you so much, Ben, for your contribution. But we need to go on a break. When we come back, we'll go to Ken in London. Welcome back. Ken, of course, your contribution on this one is CAF School Sports. You're going to age cheat, right? Is that what you're going to?
Well, the things I just saw there in those facilities tickled me. And then also, because I've also spoken with one or two persons at the Jibrin, you know, Nasser Jibrin and other who went there. I think Ruben's observation, Ruben, probably I think maybe if they have played right, you see that there has also been a level of improvement on the pitch. A lot of things, you can see the pitch as they're watering it and putting it down. But this is what we expect, and it doesn't have to be only when we want to play international matches or whatever it is. This is the standard. I remember the Oniko Stadium, which was before they did this second reformation. The moment the matches finish, if you stay after, you see them trying to water the pitch. If you stay in, if you watch, Okwe was in a room and Spain last week, and that is what he saw. So basically, this is what it is. I think, gentlemen, I want to sign off. I want to drop my pen. You guys enjoy yourself in the studio until next week when we come back again to do it how we do it here.
All right, catch up with you next Sunday. Okay, let's listen. You know, we're talking about the school sports. I mean, your view on this. Let's just
yeah. So you know, there are certain sports where that your DNA confers advantage on you over others. So for the Guineans, they are not new to this. They stopped Enugu Rangers from winning the Champions League in '75, playing a goalless draw in Conakry and coming to Lagos to actually defeat the mighty Enugu Rangers. Then look at the Tanzania. You have Simba, a club in the Champions League. No Nigerian clubs there. So and you said something about they defeating the Moroccans, who are now the beautiful bride of female football in Africa. Now, that brings us home. When we talk about school sport, channels, we've done our bit with the primary school. Unfortunately, this is not, this is for the post-primary school cadre. Now, and I've always said this, you can't say the sport policy says you should put a certain % of your budget from the local government level, state level, and federal level into sport. So what are the schools, the sport unit, the sport supervisor at the local government, what are they doing? Which competitions are we having among the states? It's not enough to have the superstructures, just put things together from state. What is actually happening at the grassroots in those states? Where are the facilities? During the Governor Fashola time in Lagos, we're having these sport parks almost all over Lagos. What are we doing in other states? What are the local government? Because sport is actually is a family thing. Yes, but the local government needs to provide the enabling environment for the family to actually thrive when it comes to sport. I think this is where we are missing it. We could have just center contingent for representing sick, but do we have value for what we are doing? We have missed it again. Hopefully next time we'll be part of them.
All right, let's listen to Patrice Motsepe, the president of CAF, and also Danny Jordan, the president of South Africa Football Federation.
You know, I was telling many of my friends that when Nigeria, of course, and the same applies to all of the continents, sorry, all of the countries on the African continent, but historically, you know, we were all supporting Nigeria, the whole continent, because the success of Nigerian football has always been the success of all of us on the continent. We are doing the right thing. And the investment in youth football, the investment in schools football is absolutely the right thing to do. We will all realize the results, the benefits in the medium to long term.
The step in the right direction.
Absolutely, because when you invest in youth football and when you invest in schools football, you are laying one of the best foundations to produce some of the best players from Nigeria and some of the best players in the African continent as well as South Africa. So we are absolutely confident, because what we've seen about the most successful nations in the world, football nations in the world, those nations invest extensively in schools football. We grew up watching the very best football players who were first identified and nurtured at schools level. So I'm very thankful, but I'm also very confident that as South Africa, as the African continent, the benefits of investment in school football, we will realize it in the medium to long term. We can all be proud. We saw the exceptional talent that participated in the competition. We started the K Mutipe Cup almost 20 years ago, and there were 30,000 boys and girls from the schools who were at Orlando Stadium. And I'm confident as a country, when we do the right things and the good things and invest in our youth, and schools football is a crucial part of investments in youth football. But the success of our young boys and girls in football also serves as an inspiration for all our young students to pursue their dreams. Whether they want to become doctors or engineers, they derive inspiration from those successful football players at schools level who are both boys and girls. So I'm thankful for all of the partners, for the South African government, for the Minister of Sports and Arts, and also for the Mayor from eThekwini. About 50,000 schools participated in the inaugural African Schools Championship. About 500,000 boys and girls were part of this initiative. Next year, we expect as much as 150,000 schools that will participate. But it's a good investment at schools level. And what we've also learned, and the statistics speak for themselves, excellence in sports and excellence in the football at schools level goes hand in hand with excellence academically and excellence as far as education is concerned.
I think that a development requires you, first of all, to broaden the base. And you broaden the base by getting as many schools to participate. And this is a good standpoint of school sport.
School sport is key, and the schools are not just coming to South Africa for nothing. They will be going home with $300,000. That's for the winners. And the second place, $200,000, and for the third place is $150,000. So all you need is for the best school from the country to go to the regional. From the regional, if you're able to win it, you go to the continental. And of course, the age is between 12 to 15 to take part. Hopefully, we'll be able to celebrate a school from Nigeria taking part in the next edition. It's just next year here. All right, let's quickly talk about Nigeria Professional Football League. We start with the games that were played on Saturday. Just 2 matches are played on Saturday. In Group A, you had Insurance of Benin, Ben Insurance of Benin, for the 4th time in a row, another draw for Ben Insurance at home against Aquara United. It ended 1-1. And of course, Deputy was the one who rescued a point for them. He did that last time in Jos against Plateau United. Now, the other game in Group B was Dakada and Doma FC. That game ended in favor of the home team. Now, let's talk about Ben Insurance quickly before we look at the fixtures for today. But you know, were you the one who said they would lose in Jos, right? But they didn't lose.
I said it. I said it. Yeah, I think to start with, The MPFL is the winner going on with $300,000? No. So having said that, now when you're having draws, and that was why having a back-to-back draw, that is not a championship stuff. And that was why last week, and going all the way to draws, I just knew they were going to lose, and of course they were saved. Now having to play Aqua United, I just lost at home to Shooting Stars, a mid-table team, and that just confirmed the rough patch Ben Edo Insurance, what they are going through right now, because if not for the accumulated point they've had, this kind of result just leaves them as a mid-table team. So I think something is wrong somewhere. Could it be fatigue? Could it be they've exhausted themselves? Could it be there is something not going right in the dressing room? But with the form they have shown and coming to 4 draws, because I tell you, CC, losing 2 matches and winning 2, you have more points than 4 draws. 4 draws, you actually doing yourself from possible 12, and that is take it to 100. That is a failure. So in their past 4 matches, they've actually failed to perform as a team, as an average team, not even as the team that we have known them to be all through the season. If not that others were not even doing catch up, I think by now they should have been out of that top position. Because with 2 draws is enough signal, not even talking about stretching this span. I even think this is the best time for any team to actually play Edo Insurance. Yeah, because it's looking like that. Maybe the fact that they are not losing is also a pointer that they are a championship team, because sometimes you want to do everything possible to get... No. I've done enough research on draws in football, and I think that was even the reason why point, I think, was it after Italia 90, became 3 points for a win and 1 point for a draw. And from that moment, draw is even worse than losing, because when you lose, you have that shock therapy. But when you draw, you still think you are maintaining your unbeaten streak, which it's like, just do the calculation. 4 over 12 is how much? That is 33%. F9. F9. Whoa. Okay, I hope they'll be able to bounce back from this and see how they can get a win, because it's a match day 13. And so you just have how many games to the end of the season? I think 5 before they go into Super 6. From all indication, I mean, no team, I don't think there's any team from MPF that you can say categorically and say they are in the Super 6 already. So Insurance needs to buckle up and start giving, and start again the way they started the season. Because when the coach spoke after the game against Plateau United, he mentioned that whatever game they're not looking at the unbeaten run, they're just taking game as if they're having a fresh start. So I think he needs to think about that and see how he can get this team winning again. Yeah, we know unbeaten run, but then unbeaten run help when you're drawing, right? Okay, let's look at the games for today. Enyimba will be in action against Plateau United. That's in Group A for today's match. You also have Aqua United and Nasarawa will be in action. Gombe and Academy Rose. Shooting Stars, yes, they went away and against Remo Stars. Now, this is the game to watch out for today. Southwest Derby. In the other games for this Sunday, you have Lobby Stars and Abia Warriors. Niger Tornadoes and Rivers United, they're back from the continent. They'll be drawn against a team from Tanzania. Those guys are really doing something wonderful. Sunshine Stars and Enugu Rangers will also be in action. Wicked Tourist and Bayelsa United are the games that conclude for today in the Nigeria Professional Football League. Are you picking anyone, Remo Stars and Shooting Stars? Naturally, I would have loved to pick that, but I can't take my eyes off Enyimba Plateau United. I can't take my eyes off, because Enyimba, they've been getting the result of late. And again, Plateau United, possibly because of where that team is located, where you have abundance of talent in Jos and environment around Jos. So naturally, Plateau United is a team that should be giving you good football in season and out of season. So I would never take my eyes off the Enyimba Plateau United game. Shooting Remo Stars is a game to watch, but again, my star match, which I recommend, is Enyimba Plateau United. Why do you recommend the game? Because of how... No, because of late, Enyimba, they be picking the result here and there, and of course, the Enyimba should, by the virtue of their 2 Champions League slots, though almost 2 decades ago, and I've been the most successful team in the Premier League, almost 8 titles. So, but again, Plus United coming from the whole very unfortunate Mighty Jet, losing 9 FA Cup finals. But as we speak, because this is an environment I know very well, you can never run short of abundance of talent in Jos. So Plateau United, Enyimba, I think, is a game I would recommend to anybody to go and watch.
All right, if you look at these two teams now, for Enyimba, they are 5th and Plateau United 4th. And how many games have they won this season? 5-5 each. And how many have they drawn? 4-4 each. How many have they lost? 4-4. And one is 18, the other one is 18. Yeah, evening points. Now I know what you're choosing in that particular game. But these two sides are fighting to make it to the Super 6 and also get the chance to play in the continent next season. And before we wrap up, let's just quickly talk about Liverpool and Arsenal now. Arsenal hasn't won at Anfield since 2012. Their last 5 or 6 games ended in losses. I mean, not just a loss, not 1-0. You see 3-0, 4-1, you know, those kind of scoreline. Can Arteta do something good and, you know, take that albatross off his back, just like what Adesanya did?
Yeah, I think they will go into Anfield with plenty of hope, because Liverpool themselves, after the 7-0 drubbing of going from the 7th heaven against Manchester United, they've not have their act together going out of the Champions League, and of course the league remains and now they're even in an unfamiliar terrain, whether 7th or 8th position. But for Arsenal, they know they still have Manchester City to play, so they know they need to safeguard every point now, because it's now a 5-point gap between them and Man City. For Arsenal today, Arsenal cannot be beaten today. The worst result they will get from Anfield will be a score draw.
You know, when they were going to play Everton, we talked about the fact that it's hard for them to win at, you know, Goodison Park. They couldn't win. But now, at Liverpool, you feel they will be able to do that. Okay, I was looking at the results from their last 5 games now. 1, 2, 3. If you look at the last time, it was 4-0. And before that, it was 3-1. Before that, 3-1, 5-1, 4-0, 3-1. And when you look at the progression of that result,
which I said,
Arteta would need to do something. But
the worst result Arsenal will leave with will be a score draw.
That's it for the show at this afternoon. Thank you so much for staying with me all through.
Thanks, Sisi. Enjoy the rest of the Easter.
Yeah, last man standing. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Cecilia Mogbe. Have a fantastic Easter celebration.